Welcome to the channel, guys. My name is Jess. So Bitcoin has rallied massively in the last week, resulting in a new all-time high at $77,000. We're going to dive into the charts today to talk about the macro effects of the recent rally, the short time frame price action immediately following, and the potential for a small pullback here. We'll also take a quick look at the rest of the crypto market, including Total 3 and Bitcoin Dominance. Before we get into all that though, make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to get regular Bitcoin analysis every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. If you're after more content, be sure to check out my free Telegram channel, and if you're interested in my VIP channel, you can get more details over here. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trading setups with exact entry points, targets, and stop losses. Alrighty guys, so diving right into the charts here, we're on a daily time frame here for Bitcoin. As you guys can see, it has been an absolutely insane last couple of days here for Bitcoin. The price rallied 12% or over 12% up to a new all-time high at $77,200. So on the short time frame charts in the last week, I think if you guys weren't following along the price action at all, you would know that moving into the US elections, we were in a little bit of a weekly downtrend over here, right? Just as, you know, people were taking a less risky approach and deaccumulating, moving into such a huge day because Kamala and Trump had such massively opposing views when it came to cryptocurrency. So at the end of the US election day, 6th of November for those of us in Australia, I think it was pretty clear that Kamala was being outvoted. And we saw the results of that over here in the price action. We saw a massive rally breaking us out of the weekly downtrend and going all the way up to that new all-time high. So one of the reasons why I think Trump being re-elected as the president of the United States is so bullish for crypto, not only because his stance overall is quite, positive in terms of cryptocurrency, but because of this plan to accumulate a Bitcoin strategic reserve for USA. So this plan includes the accumulation of up to $1 million of Bitcoin over the next 5 years as a tool for reducing national debt. But one of the really important and good things about this plan is the fine print in that they're not supposed to, or they don't plan on selling any of the accumulated Bitcoin after having purchased it. So that sort of unprecedented demand in terms of an institution accumulating Bitcoin in that sort of way is completely new to the market, right? And is naturally very, very bullish. So it's very clear on the high time frame, Bitcoin's broken out of this 8 month downtrending channel of sort of chop, and we've broken above a new all-time high. We've just recently had rate cuts once again. We're due for another set of rate cuts on the 26th of December. Things are looking very, very bullish, not only because of this sort of plan to accumulate Bitcoin, but it suggests a policy shift, right? For the last 4 years, we've seen USA basically wage war against cryptocurrency, the SEC basically waging war against crypto, and this potentially signals the start of a change to that. So things are looking really, really bullish in terms of the macro charts, but let's dive into the short time frame and talk about the price action immediately following this rally and the potential for a short time frame correction here and its impacts on Total 3 and the rest of the market. Before we get into the rest of the video, guys, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor, BTC. We can get 15% off all of your trading fees and up to $5,500 in sign-up rewards when you create your free account using the link down in my description box. BTC is an emerging cryptocurrency exchange committed to providing you with a secure, convenient, and highly functional trading and investment platform. Available across all countries as a non-KYC exchange, get global access to over 150 trading pairs with minimal fees on both spot and futures contracts. Join today to get $5,500 in sign-up rewards and get 15% off all of your trading fees by signing up using the link in my bio or by using the code 1GG3 when you create your account. So while undoubtedly the high time frame charts are still looking really, really bullish, that does not mean that Bitcoin cannot see a short time frame correction. So if we take a look at the price action immediately following the rally over here, we've started to consolidate in an ascending wedge pattern. So essentially it's characterized by higher highs here and higher lows as well. But the higher lows, the trend line created by those lows, is steeper than the trend line created by the highs. So essentially what we're seeing is the selling pressure that we're experiencing is getting stronger despite the rapid reaccumulation and the defense of these levels of support from the buyers. So essentially it is a bearish structure by nature, and we have a higher probability generally in these structures of seeing a breakdown as opposed to an invalidation and a move back upwards. If we take a look at the RSI, we can see that once again we're losing strength, we're losing bullish momentum, we're printing these lower highs here, suggesting a decrease in buying pressure moving throughout that structure. So once again, confirmation that we are seeing a little bit of a shift and some bullish exhaustion here, right? Potential for a reversal. So in this reversal, if we take a look at the measured move of our ascending wedge structure, that is from that very first validation point to the height at the start there, and that takes us from a breakout point. I'm assuming this is a big assumption, right? I can't say exactly when we're going to break out, but assuming it's the weekend right now and we generally experience a lot less volatility, I wouldn't say we're going to break out immediately over the weekend, but I think throughout that sort of weekend period, we're going to see some sideways chop and invalidation of our uptrend over here. And then following that, as we pick up volatility throughout the weekday period, potentially on Monday, we're going to lose a level of horizontal support that coincides with that sort of sideways chop throughout the weekend, and that loss of horizontal support there that we go on to develop is then likely going to trigger the start of that breakdown. So the measured move here takes us all the way down to this range of support over here, the range low for our ascending wedge structure. So that low retest is exceptionally important because not only is it the range low of the structure here, but it is also the prior all-time high, right? That $73,600 level. And if we go back to the daily chart, that is the high here that we created all the way in March 2024, as you know, the all-time high here for Bitcoin, again 73,600. So essentially what we'll be seeing here is a correction to retest the prior high as a base of support. Now if we end up bouncing there, the overall trajectory of Bitcoin is still going to be very, very bullish, right? Because as we bounce on support, we can expect a continuation in breaking above the prior high there to go on to continue on in that really, really bullish price discovery. Moving back to the smaller time frame charts, naturally the very first target in that breakdown isn't going to be the measured move. We have other levels of support in between, namely the prior highs within this uptrend over here. So first of all, we have this prior high here at 75,500 and sell side liquidity at 75.481. If we drop below that, if we get an hourly candle close below that, that is the start of a lower high here on the charts, right? The start of a downtrend and probably the start of a much lower descent here for Bitcoin to then test this next level of support here at the prior high below that at 74,500. And then, of course, below that, that is when we go on to target the measured move. So I do think the potential for a correction here is quite high. If we take a look at the 4-hour time frame, we can see once again some bearish divergence over here, right? We've got bearish divergence between these two peaks, once again at these two peaks and at these two peaks. So 4 prints of bearish divergence here on the 4-hour time frame, and generally, as we get onto a higher time frame chart, the likelihood of that bearish divergence playing out becomes greater, right? Bearish divergences on a short time frame sometimes, sometimes they result in a correction, but a lot of those times a lot of the times that sort of bearish divergence plays out to be, oh, this is the correction, and we go on to move in that uptrend anyways. But here on the higher time frame, it's much likelier that this actually plays out to be quite a steep correction. So first of all, that loss there of 75.5, Bitcoin falls into a downtrend, and so on and so forth. As long as we do not lose this prior level of support though, things are still really, really bullish in terms of the daily charts and the overall price action. Because a retrace of that prior all-time high as a base of support before seeing continued rallying is quite natural, right? It's going to be natural that we see some profit taking moving past this extensive rally. If we end up seeing this bearish divergence invalidated, however, the very first sign for that is going to be a breakout of that corresponding RSI uptrend. So a massive shift in momentum over here. So let's say we break out of this downtrend. that is going to signal that the sort of decreasing strength that we've seen exhibited over the last couple of days has been invalidated, right? The buyers have taken over, stepped back in, and we're going to see an invalidation of the structure here as opposed to a breakdown. Moving on to the rest of the cryptocurrency market, let's talk about how this little pullback from Bitcoin might affect altcoins and the rest of that market. So if we take a look at Bitcoin dominance, we can see that over the last 2-year period, we've been in an uptrend, right? With Bitcoin being steadily the more and more dominant cryptocurrency being purchased by investors and, so on and so forth. Now, as we have moved towards this sort of really pivotal point in the last couple of weeks, between 58 and 61%, we've been essentially waiting for this uptrend to break, right? And that is not going to happen until we see a massive shift in the confidence in the cryptocurrency market, which, might be stimulated by the recent US elections, economic changes, the shift in interest rates, and Bitcoin finally breaking out of this 8-month-long channel of consolidation, as well as Total 3 doing the same. So we're starting to see positioning where we can potentially see Bitcoin dominance begin to drop and altcoins finally, start to pick up some strength of their own and start to perform the way that we typically see in a cryptocurrency bull run, right? Where altcoins do, 10, 100x, maybe high cap coins do 3x, so on and so forth, right? Things that Bitcoin is incapable of doing because it is such a high market cap coin. Now, generally moving into periods of really parabolically bullish Bitcoin behavior, what we first of all see is Bitcoin rallies, right? And throughout that period, we see a little bit of rallying from altcoins, right? As we've seen from Total 3 over here, we've broken above this really huge level of resistance here in the last couple of days. And then following that rally, at some point, Bitcoin is going to correct, right? So when we see that correction, what we tend to see from altcoins is an uncharacteristic sign of strength, right? As confidence builds during this Bitcoin correction, altcoins either, crash less hard or some of them go sideways. And that is when we start to see the beginning of the shift in Bitcoin dominance, right? Altcoins are starting to step in and we're starting to see Bitcoin dominance shift downwards. Now, following that, Bitcoin eventually obviously bounces, right? We're in a bull run, so Bitcoin bounces. And then during that period, after this uncharacteristic show of strength, we see altcoins rally harder than Bitcoin in conjunction to its rally as well. And that is when we see a massive shift in Bitcoin dominance, and we see, the all-time highs, etc., from altcoins as well. And that is when generally we start to see a shift in Bitcoin dominance towards these lower levels over here, 48%, and this low here at 39 to 40%, which is what we saw in at the end of the last, bull run, right? So obviously, while I can't guarantee and no one can guarantee that this correction here that we see from Bitcoin is the one where, we end up seeing that first display of strength here from altcoins, it is definitely something to be looking for in the current economic, political, and psychological environment here for cryptocurrency. We're seeing confidence build. Bitcoin is breaking out of a new all-time high. Things are looking really bullish here for Bitcoin, and we're just simply waiting for that moment when that starts to translate into confidence in the rest of the cryptocurrency market. If we take a look at total, for example, though, we are at resistance, right? We're a little bit lagging here on total, where we're retesting this prior high here within that 8-month channel of consolidation. Bitcoin, as we know, already broke out from that, right? So we're seeing lagging price action here from total. And if we take a look at Total 3 as well, we are once again approaching a level of resistance coinciding with the prior high within that sort of similar downtrend. It's not exactly the same because the channel on total got really messed up and it was invalidated. But if we also take a look at this level of here, we are at support. So potentially, while we could see a little bit of a correction, the buyers might step in at these higher levels over here to defend the price from going any lower. And we see that display of strength from altcoins here. Following the Bitcoin rally, after this bounce, we might see total then break above this strong high, and that is when we see that larger shift, that secondary shift in altcoins and Bitcoin dominance that leads to, you know, the parabolic rallying from altcoins over here. So really, really important price action to be looking forward to in the next couple of months, guys. If you haven't started, you know, paying attention, potentially this is the time to do so. Alrighty, guys, that is all the analysis that I have for you today. If you enjoyed the video or you learned something, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you're after even more content, be sure to check out my free Telegram for daily updates as well as crypto and economic news. And if you're interested in my VIP channel, you can get more details over here. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trading setups with exact entry points, targets, and stop losses. And if you are a trader, don't forget to sign up down below to BitUnext to get 15% off all of your trading fees. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!